Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite self-help and spiritual books that really helped me get into spirituality, and I just wanted to share some recommendations with you because lately I have really been into reading, and I've been reading a lot of spiritual and like self-help books talking about the universe and like the law of assumption and law of attraction and all those kinds of things. So I wanted to sit down and share my own book recommendations because personally I love watching these kinds of videos and then purchasing books that I found interesting. So yeah, if you want to get started with like spirituality or learn more about it, or you're just looking for some good book recommendations, then this video is definitely for you, and welcome. I have 5 different books here that I will be talking about and recommending to you guys. The first book, this is actually the first, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think this is the first spiritual self-help book that I have ever read, and I read this my senior year of high school, I believe. It's called E Squared by Pam Grau, and actually one of my mom's friends that she works with gave this book to her, and then I started reading it, and it's really good. If you want to get started and you want to like change your life for the better and have a more positive outlook and kind of just like understand manifestation and law of attraction and all those kinds of things like that, I would definitely recommend starting with this book. It's so good. It's definitely what like did it for me and really solidified like and just like opened up a whole new world of spirituality for me. But pretty much it says 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. It says E Squared could best be described as a lab manual with simple experiments that prove reality is malleable, consciousness trumps matter, and you shape your life with your mind. Yes, you read that right. It says prove. The 9 experiments, each of which can be conducted with absolutely no money and very little time expenditure, demonstrate that spiritual principles are as dependable as gravity, as consistent as Newton's laws of motions. Rather than take it on faith, E Squared invites you to prove the following principles. There's an invisible energy force or field of infinite possibilities. You impact the field and draw from it according to your beliefs and expectations. Your connections to the field provides accurate and unlimited guidance. The universe is limitless, abundant, and strangely accommodating. So yeah, it pretty much just like talks about whatever you focus on is gonna magnify. So like it really talks about the importance of keeping a positive outlook on life, and then it just like talks about how you impact the field and draw from it according to your beliefs and expectations, and how there's like an invisible energy field, and how whatever you pretty much put out there and whatever you focus on is just gonna like keep on coming to you, is what you're gonna notice in your life. So it makes you do exercises like choose like one thing to focus on during the week. For example, let's say you write down, I want to see butterflies this week. You're gonna start seeing a lot of butterflies everywhere. Even if it's like winter outside, you might see butterflies on TV, you might see butterfly stickers, butterfly clothes, whatever, because you put that into your head that like, oh, like I'm gonna focus on butterflies. And because I specifically remember that's like what I wrote down, I don't know why, and it just shows how whatever you shift your mind to is what's gonna appear in your life and what you're gonna notice the most. So obviously with bigger things like tragedy and sickness and all those kinds of things, like if that's what you choose to focus on and think about and read about and watch videos about, that's what's gonna start appearing more in your life, and that's like what you're gonna draw your attention to. Okay, so next I have a very popular book, and I know a lot of people know about this book and have read it, and it is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Definitely recommend this. It's a really good read, and I love the way the author writes. He pretty much shares a bunch of stories from like his life and how that impacted his life and like the struggles that he went through. I'm not gonna get like too deep into it because I don't want to spoil the book for you guys, but he pretty much talks about how in order to live like a happy, fulfilling life, you have to decide what it is that you care and what it is that you really don't care about. So like you have to pretty much like pick and choose where your energy goes, because our energy is precious and our time is precious. So let's say, I don't know, something as stupid as like we have drama at work with one of our coworkers or something like that, like that's not like really that important. You can choose not to care about that, and you can choose to just put your energy somewhere else and do something efficient with your time instead that's actually going to benefit you. Resilience, happiness, and freedom come from knowing what to care about and, most importantly, what not to care about. This is a masterful, philosophical, and practical book that will give readers the wisdom to be able to do just that. For instance, he talks about somebody invites us to like an event that we truly don't really want to go to, and it's not going to make us happy, it's not going to do anything for our life. You can choose not to go, and you can choose to not put your energy towards that and actually do something with your night or your day that's going to make you happy instead. Like, you know, you don't have to feel obligated to put yourself in situations that you really don't want to be in. I feel like this book really talks about like setting boundaries and stuff, and I definitely agree with that. Like, it really made me realize that there's so many things that I don't have to do. I just feel like obligated to do it, and that's just gonna lead to you being miserable down the line. I think that there's things you can take from each book, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything that each book states. I think it's always just like helpful to even read about things that you don't necessarily agree with, which brings me in to my third book, and this is actually the book that I read a few weeks ago. It's such an easy read. It's so short. There's like a series of them. It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. I really love this book. I would say this is also a pretty good beginner book if you're starting to be like aware of the energy fields in life and how your thoughts and like what you say and even jokes you make, how they impact your reality. This book is, I would say, really different from all of the other books that I will be showing you guys because it has like a more religious approach and it talks about God a lot. And personally, I actually really enjoyed that because I'm not very religious, but I do believe that there is a God and like a higher power and stuff. So I do love reading about it. I'm gonna read you guys the first page just so you guys can get like the vibe of this book, because I feel like the first page, it's called The Game. I don't know if you guys can see that. Really just sets the vibe for like how the entire book is gonna be. And it's also really cheap. I'll put like links to all these books, but I think I got this book for like $6 off of Amazon, so I would definitely recommend. It starts off by saying, most people consider life a battle, but it is not a battle, it is a game. It is a game, however, which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law, and the Old and the New Testaments give the rules of the game with wonderful clearness. Jesus Christ taught that it was a great game of giving and receiving. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means that whatever man sends out in word or deed will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. If he gives hate, he will receive hate. If he gives love, he will receive love. If he gives criticism, he will receive criticism. If he lies, he will be lied to. If he cheats, he will be cheated. We are taught also that the imaging faculty plays a leading part in the game of life. Keep thy heart or imagination with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. This means that what man images sooner or later externalizes in his affairs. And then pretty much she gives examples of people that have come to her for help and like how their outlooks and like what they pretty much would talk about, how that impacted their life. The one thing that really stuck with me from this book is it talks about how once you become aware that your thoughts and what you say and everything impacts your reality, then it's almost like you move to a higher level of consciousness and you start having like a duty to this world. Like your thoughts are going to impact you so much more than somebody that's completely unaware and stuff, and you almost have like a duty to live by that and to understand and like to try your hardest to like live by that, and to try your hardest to be really conscious and aware of everything you say, everything you think, and like the energy that you send out towards people and towards things, because it's almost like once you're aware of that, it becomes like your duty to practice that. So next we have the book I'm currently reading. I'm actually not done with this book. This is huge. It's called Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson. I love this book. It's so interesting. It pretty much talks about the idea of parallel universes. A week before, I didn't buy this. My stepdad had this and I noticed it in our kitchen. But a week before that, me and my cousin and I were just like talking about, I don't know, the world and the universe, and I was talking about how I definitely believe there's like alternate realities and stuff, and that there's like so many different possibilities and so many different lives, and like I always kind of would say it, but at the same time I didn't really understand how that could be possible and stuff, and she didn't really either. And then this book appeared in my kitchen with really amazing timing. But he talks about how Hugh Everett III in 1957, based on concepts formulated previously in the Copenhagen School of Physics, had been proposed to explain certain anomalies of quantum mechanics. Suffice it to say that quantum mechanics acknowledge that the observer of an event is not independent of the event, meaning that observed phenomena behaves according to the expectations of the observer. The many worlds model goes a step further by saying that with each observed event, reality splits into different realities that do not influence each other, while the observer remains a special case. Everett's work is now widely acknowledged by leading physicists. Meanwhile, physicists also acknowledge what spiritual schools have been teaching since ages. The observer is not a special case, but also splits just as the observed reality does. The observer is interconnected with the observed reality. Moreover, the various parallel worlds are not autonomous, but can intersect and produce overspills or bleed through into other realities. And then he pretty much talks about like certain coincidences that we can notice in our life and how we're able to like merge into other realities and change our life to align with the reality we truly want. Lastly, I have The Greatest Secret. I actually don't have The Secret. I've never even read it. I've watched the documentary and like videos on it and stuff, but I remember seeing this in Target a few years ago. It says, "We've missed the truth for thousands of years because we've not looked at what is right in front of us. We've become easily distracted by our problems, the drama in our lives, the comings and goings of the events in the world, and we've missed the greatest discovery we can make that is right here before us, a discovery that can take us out of suffering and into lasting bliss and happiness." It's a really short read also. This is what it looks like. But yeah, I would say this is also a really good starting point if you want to get started with reading about spirituality and all those kinds of things and like getting introduced to it. So for instance, it talks about how your thoughts, feelings, sensations, and beliefs seamlessly work together to convince you you are a person. We're all big pretenders. We're pretending we're very small. We're pretending we're very limited. We're pretending we're a small, limited person who lives for a time, dies, and that's the end of us. But nothing could be further from the truth. We are self-obsessed with an imaginary character that doesn't exist. We could say that this imaginary character is exactly like a movie character. We know the actor playing the character exists, but does the movie character know that the actor exists? No, the movie character is imaginary. I personally don't really agree to like permanent happiness and bliss, but that's just like my personal opinion. There's so many people that do believe that that is possible for everyone, so yeah, I would say if you're getting involved in spirituality and just like if you want to know more about the world and stuff, it's so important to start reading. I absolutely just love books, and I have been so into reading, and I think that it just is so good for you to get educated and to read and to be aware of the life we're living, because it's truly honestly so crazy. And it's so crazy how we do have the power to literally align ourselves with what we want and what we don't want, and to attract things into our life no matter how big or small they are. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope I gave you guys some good book recommendations, and let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of these books or if you have some recommendations for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.